One habit of having a designated weekly planning time both allows us to make progress on things that matter to us and have nice things in our lives, and also relax because we trust that our brain will get to stuff. We trust that stuff is captured in our calendar, and that we will make space for these things that we have decided matter to us.
My basic principle is you have to report against everything you've learned. If you report hard and can't knock it down, you can begin to have some confidence in it. But if you don't stress test your information, I don't think you've got any business trusting it.
You can't copy how you make people feel. You can't copy helping people want to be better. You can copy the material, you can't copy the understanding.
The best way to identify those, what might be points of high leverage, is to actually try things, to experiment. It's really hard to identify points of high leverage by thinking. It's really hard to identify points of leverage by doing pro and con lists. You don't know what's going to have the biggest impacts until you actually try.
So priorities are the important bit. All the rest can kind of just be worked out. That's the boring stuff. The good conversations, the good tension, the good back and forth, that happens when you're asking each other things like, well, what do you want 5 years from now? And how can money get us there?
Things seem slower and more rich when they are novel. So if you want to kind of expand your sense of happiness, you might look for things that are more novel. Because that will give you a deeper sense of time.
Before worrying about having like 50 items on your menu, like make sure you're doing the first 10 items really well. Of course, your product has to be great and you have to believe in the product and you need to be true to it. Don't try and do too much.
When I realized it wasn't about having ultimate conviction, impenetrable conviction about what I was going to do or why I was doing it, but more about the joy of just constantly exposing myself to new things, trusting it was going to work out, and then always understanding that the trusting it was going to work out didn't mean I couldn't fulfill my responsibilities as a husband and a father and a leader, but that I was going to be okay with the unknown.
It doesn't matter if your organization is 3 people or 10,000 people or whatever. You are your best bet at shifting the culture by paying attention to how you show up, how you take care of yourself, how you bubble up so you don't get infected by the negativity.
Change is often hard because you've been doing something this way for a long time. It's how we've always done it. It's the status quo. And interrupting that is really tough because if that's the way we've always done it, it just feels right for people who've been there the longest, and those are often people with the most power. But now we're doing everything differently. And so when we create new norms, I think there's a real opportunity to create a workplace that actually works for everyone.